on Worcester News tonight, helping people in need. The Worcester County Food Bank receives a large donation for the holiday season. Plus, as you're turning back your clocks this weekend, State Fire Marshal has a message. Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Anna Botari. Massachusetts has become the first state to adopt a ban on bump stocks since the mass shooting at the Las Vegas Music Festival. Lawmakers approved a ban on bump stocks as part of a supplemental budget bill. Those devices can increase the firing rate of a weapon. Friday, Lieutenant Governor Karen Polito signed the bill because Governor Charlie Baker is on vacation. Dozens of bike riders gathered in front of Worcester City Hall Friday, taking part in a community ride in support of 508 Bike Life and community solutions to teen bicycle rides, not criminalization. The group says their gathering is in response to the city launching a task force to crack down on Worcester youth participating in group bicycle rides after they cited swerving, passing yellow lines, and blocking traffic as motivation for the policy change. Cyclists like Ian Jackson, who stand with the teens, say he doesn't believe their actions warrant a criminal response.
This can be a really scary city to ride your bicycle in. There's little traffic enforcement, and I think this is a great opportunity to educate drivers about the rules of the road, and more specifically to allocate resources towards that and not towards police and youth on bicycles. I think the best way to improve safety is to making sure we can share the road properly and not putting some of the most vulnerable people in our community, who are young youth, predominantly black and brown, behind bars, and putting them on a pathway that could result in jail sentences or criminal record, which nobody wants.
Jackson says his primary goal is to let youth bike riders know they support them and they think they have a right to use the city and should not be criminalized for it. The Lambda Chi Alpha fraternity at WPI is preparing for their annual food drive, which supports the Thanksgiving food distribution program by Friendly House. Phase 1 begins this weekend. The fraternity will be distributing shopping bags to over 10,000 households Sunday. They're asking people to fill the bags with non-perishable food items and then place the bags on their doorstep for pickup the following Sunday. Fraternity Vice President Alexander Zukra says all of the brothers have spent time volunteering for Friendly House and have seen firsthand how food drives like this one can benefit local families.
Is leaning on this, what our efforts are leading to, and everyone knows that there are families sort of depending on us to help them provide a Thanksgiving meal. So everyone really understands that, and everyone has that in the back of their head as their motivation as to why we need to get this done and what we're really helping with the bigger picture.
Zukra says if you did not receive a bag and still want to donate, you can do so by contacting Lambda Chi Alpha directly or by going to their Facebook page. The Worcester County Food Bank receiving a large donation Friday to help provide Thanksgiving dinners to families across Worcester County. Hundreds of turkeys will be donated to local organizations. Our Rosalind Flaherty has the story.
Pernay Family Health Service in Worcester says the Thanksgiving holiday can be a difficult time for the families it serves.
A lot of our families do not have access or are able to get food.
So a Stop and Shop donation of 1,000 turkeys to the Worcester County Food Bank Friday should help.
It helps remind us, the people that do need some extra help, and it makes us feel good that we can do it.
The food bank will distribute the turkeys and other food to its network agencies like Pernay Family Health Service to help feed hungry people throughout Worcester County. Pernay will receive more than 30 turkeys this year for Thanksgiving.
Families break down in tears, families who just don't really have anything, and this just brings a little more joy into their lives.
The food bank says 1 out of 10 people in Worcester County don't know where their next meal is coming from. The organization relies on donations and says last November they were able to provide more than 400,000 meals.
November is really the time of year when everyone thinks about sitting down with family and friends and enjoying a wonderful meal.
Executive Director Jean McMurray says Friday's donation will make a difference, and she's hopeful the turkeys will relieve some of the stresses on families this holiday season.
It helps me to count my blessings, and when I sit down to have Thanksgiving with my family, it really makes it all that much more meaningful.
Rosalind Flaherty, Worcester News Tonight.
Well, it's the time of the year early risers may not mind as much as others, the end of daylight savings time. With the switch comes a reminder from the Massachusetts Fire Marshal's office. At 2 a.m. on Sunday, November 5th, the hour of daylight is switched from the evening to the morning. The state fire marshal is reminding everyone as they set their clocks back an hour to also replace the batteries in the smoke and carbon monoxide alarms. According to the state fire marshal, in 2016, 17 people died in home fires where there were no working smoke alarms. Smoke alarms last about 10 years and carbon monoxide alarms last about 5 to 7. He says if you have an older appliance, to replace it. It's a problem all too common on college campuses. Now a bill sponsored by State Senator Michael Moore promises to action to prevent sexual assault on college campuses. The comprehensive legislation would make colleges and universities provide sexual assault and prevention training to students and faculty. According to the Association of American Universities, almost 1 in 4 female undergraduate students are sexually assaulted. Senator Moore says it's a serious issue and needs to be enforced on all college campuses.
This is the beginning of our initiatives to try to make sexual assaults, how to prevent it, bystander awareness, how to educate students, or I should say kids, who have left their homes for the first time. You know, we entrust our colleges and universities to educate our kids, but more importantly, we also entrust them to protect them.
The legislation passed through the Senate unanimously Thursday and is now in the hands of the House of Representatives. The Retired Senior Volunteer Program has launched a senior fraud helpline. It will serve residents of Worcester County who are 55 and older. Our Brittany Schaefer explains it's part of an effort to help protect older adults against scams.
RSVP Director Barbara Drapo says the service will help seniors decide next steps to take, either after they've been defrauded or if they have concerns about a solicitation.
If you are concerned that you may have been scammed, conned, or defrauded, or if you have questions about an offer that you've received, please leave a message.
A helpline celebrates its launch Friday. Its focus is to assist seniors targeted by phone, mail, or internet scams.
It's horrible that there's a whole industry out there that's trying to take money from these seniors who've worked their whole lives. This is the money they have to live on for the rest of their lives, and they're a vulnerable population.
The Retired and Senior Volunteer Program started the helpline in October. RSVP Director Barbara Drapos says they've already helped seniors in Worcester County.
We received several very serious calls actually yesterday, and we expect more today because, as you know, this is the crime of the 21st century.
Harvard Pilgrim Healthcare is a primary sponsor of the 800 number. It's a free service to seniors.
We knew it was a no-brainer, and we wanted to get involved. After getting involved, we found out how widespread the problem was.
Volunteers like Leslie Holmes answer the calls. He says scammers who are taking money from people who can least afford it need to be stopped.
I've got a passion for helping people my age. Every buck we can take away from the con artists, put back in the senior citizen pocket, will allow them to buy better medical insurance, better medical equipment, and better prescription coverage.
RSVP say scammers have become more deceiving.
Well, I just need a little more information. What's your date of birth?
October 16th, 1949.
And your social security number?
And they hope this helpline is the answer to ending scams in Worcester County.
They're pretty sophisticated, and it's good to know that the RSVP folks are sophisticated as well, so that they can give support to the seniors who are calling in.
Seniors are a primary target, and we hope to change that in Worcester County. So we're fighting back.
Now, again, this is a free service. Drapo says with the amount of local and international scams, she knows it'll be used often. Brittany Schaefer, Worcester News Tonight.
A big budget deficit leads to the layoff of more than 24 custodians in Leominster. But now, after an even bigger mess at the schools in the city, they're being hired back. Our Cassie Arsenal has the details.
Ask any parent. It's not a problem they thought they would encounter at Leominster Public Schools.
I expect toilet paper and paper towels.
If you ask students, they say they're fed up.
My floors in my classroom, even my teacher says it all the time, they're like wicked dirty.
And if you ask the mayor, he admits the cuts were a bad call.
Sometimes you don't know what you got till it's gone.
The custodians, well, they'll tell you they could have seen this coming.
We had told them this before they did it, that the quality is going to suffer, things are going to go downhill fast.
Scott Lanciani has been without work since June of last year after working as a custodian for Leominster schools for 17 years. He calls cleaning a craft.
We put a lot of hard work, and we take pride in our work. to bring these buildings to a certain level.
The school district cut the cleaning staff to try to lessen a $5 million deficit and hired a third-party cleaning company instead.
To go from 9 people to 3 people to clean that 500,000 square foot building, I mean, you're going to see the difference in quality.
Until conditions in the school, well, got like this.
Realize that it is really best to bring back the custodians.
Lanciani says when they're back on November 13th, this time around, people will notice their work.
It's unnoticed and nobody really realizes what they have until they lose it.
The custodians did have to make some trade-offs, though. Instead of a $500 clothing allowance, it's going to be $300. Instead of 3 personal days, they only get 1, and only 24 total positions will go back into the district. They had to lose 3 of those. In Leominster, Cassie Arsenault, Worcester News Tonight.
Remembering a fallen officer in a unique way. This weekend, the Webster Police Department and CrossFit Hammerhill will be partnering to host a workout in Officer Michael Lee's memory. The veteran officer was killed last month in a car crash. Deputy Police Chief Michael Shaw says Lee loved to lift weights at CrossFit, and this workout will be a perfect way to remember him.
He was a patrol officer, but he also did a lot of sexual assault investigations, which is a very difficult task to do. He also served in the regional SWAT team for several years. We served together for quite a while, and he was very good at that. He loved doing it. So CrossFit kind of translated well into that type of training and job activity.
Anyone interested in participating can email Deputy Chief Shaw at shawm@websterpolice.com. The event is free, but they're asking for a $5 donation to be given to a charity in Officer Lee's name. Well, Worcester municipal election is only days away, and over the next few nights, we'll be catching up with the at-large councillor candidates. Each weeknight leading up to November 7th, we have a preview, asking each candidate what they feel are the most important issues facing the city. Tonight, we'll hear from Gary Rosen. Rosen has served a total of 10 years. He was an at-large councillor for 3 terms and has served as the District 5 councillor for the past 4 years.
I think we rely, really too much on the dual tax rate, so we have to take a look this coming year at ways to increase our revenue without raising the real estate taxes of homeowners or businesses. And the mayor's task force had a report that came out about a year ago, and the council's been kind of dragging its feet on that. So it's time for the new council to say, are there some new ways we can raise revenue? The litter and dumping, and Worcester seems to have a recycling problem. I saw it today. We had high winds last night and still this morning, and I saw it in the area of my district. I saw litter everywhere from people's open recycle bins. So the next council has to be willing to do something about that. We can't keep going on windy days with open